Hello and welcome to the video. Those of you that watch the channel a lot will know that I am into tinkering and actually manufacturing and making bits and pieces as well. Now a big part of that in the modern hobby is 3D printing. You have that thing behind me. That is my Fabricator 2 from Turnigy. Great little tabletop printer. I also have my Ender 3 with all the upgrades on that I use for bigger print jobs. And now I have just got this Sculpfun S10 in to have a go with. Now I am interested in this because 3D printing is an additive process. You know, you start with nothing, you design it on a computer and it prints out the plastic layer by layer and you end up with a part. However, there are times when I don't want it made out of plastic. I'd quite like it made out of something else. Balsa wood or something like that could be a useful alternative. In those instances at the moment I have no option but to use a Dremel and to take hours trying to shape the part, just like I did before I got into 3D printing, where everything started to be made of plastic. Now, about 4 years ago, I got in a routing machine, a little tabletop device that had like a little burr that could do things like cutting and engraving, and I didn't have a great time with it. I found that the software was very clunky and just gave up on the whole thing. However, looking around, I was about to get hold of a Sculpfun S9, which is the kind of previous version to this new S10, and as I was about to hit the button, the S10 came out, and I'm so glad I waited. The laser is about twice as powerful, and it also has air assist on it as well. Air assist is useful because the laser creates smoke, depending on what you're cutting, but that smoke then obscures the beam, which means that then you get messier cuts. So having basically some air just to blow that smoke away means you get a cleaner job, and the S10 has both of those things. Now this is a machine that it's only going to be really interesting, I guess, to those like me where building is a massive part of the hobby, and tinkering and playing and messing around with stuff, because this machine can do lots of different stuff. It's not just for cutting out flat plates of balsa for building stuff. It's also handy for engraving and some other things I'm thinking about too. So let me show you how this comes. It comes in 4 individual boxes, and I'll run through the specs. Now the laser power on this thing is 10 watts. That's light energy, not electrical energy. The inner diameter of the air pipe is 7.5 millimeters, and it comes with an air compressor. Laser wavelength on this is 455 nanometers, plus or minus 5 nanometers. Engraving accuracy is 0.01 millimeters. The engraving size as it comes is 410 by 400 millimeters, so it's a nice tabletop size, but you can extend that. And the focusing method is it's a fixed focus, so you kind of use a sliding device to actually set it up for the work that you're about to cut. Has a laser cover to protect your eyes, and it also, mine came with the glasses as well that you need to wear just to make sure that you don't get caught. In terms of what you can cut with something like this, then you can cut pretty much anything with a laser of that power. So things like hardwoods, MDF, bamboo, cardboard, plastic, leather, PCB board, aluminum, stainless steel, ceramic, dark stone. And this one actually came with a lot of samples as well. I actually ordered them with this so that I can have a play too. My wife is a maker as well, and I'm sure once I get this running, she'll find uses for it as well with the stuff that she does. To run this, we're going to need some software. I think I'm going to get hold of Lightburn. That seems to be what most people are recommending for me. Very similar to lots of other packages for things like my vinyl cutter and things like 3D printing. So it shouldn't take me too long to get my head around it. Power supply for this, it comes with the power supplies. Unfortunately, mine have come with the wrong plugs, but that's no big deal. I can snip them off. The product weight's about 3.5 kilograms. The whole packing weight's about 5.13 kilograms, and it does seem to have all the certifications that you'd expect. One of the really pleasant surprises has been how easy this was to build. Unpacking it with all those pieces, I was a little bit worried about that. It's been a long time since I've put something like this together. If you've ever made, though, a Lego model or put together some simple IKEA furniture, this is going to be a breeze. The manual itself is full color and is very detailed, and the amazing thing is as well is that each of the packages of screws for each of the steps in the manual are not only marked with which step it is, but also which screws you need as well. So it's very difficult to go wrong. You can just go through each of the pieces. All the tools that you need are also in the box as well. So just follow each stage through. The first thing is to connect the two rear brackets onto the rear piece. Again, they're marked up so you know which is the rear, front, back and sides. Once those two rear plates are on, you do the same thing and attach the front left plate, and then the control unit goes on the front right plate, and that becomes the fourth leg. Then it's a case of installing the slider and then running the belts through everything. That's probably the hardest thing, just to get the belts to go over the top of the cog and engage properly. But once that's on, then you just put a couple of screws in each end, apply a little bit of tension so it's reasonably taut, and away you go. Then it's just a case of putting the laser on and the laser cover, running the air pipe which goes to the air pump that comes with this, and then plugging everything in. Again, really nicely done. What is the x-axis, what is the y-axis is printed on the stepper motors, and also the controls, the plugs that go into them from the control box are also clearly labeled as well. So it's a really quick and easy thing to make. So I just wanted to show you this as something that I've just got in and I'm quite excited about. In the next couple of weeks, I will be playing with this, playing a lot more with the software and figuring out the art of the possible. But it's going to be exciting when I'm building planes and quads, camera mounts, modifying things, that now it doesn't always have to be made out of 3D printed plastic. I can actually make things out of acrylic or wood and have a completely different thing as well. I've got a couple of other ideas for non-hobby related uses too, so stay tuned. You will definitely be seeing more of this, and as I figure stuff out, there may be a couple of tips and tricks videos about it as well. So if you have any specific questions, do pop them down below, but stay tuned. You are going to be seeing this Sculpfun S10 a lot more on the channel in the coming weeks, months and years, as it hopefully becomes a stable part of how I cut and design and make pieces for flying. Thank you for spending your time today watching that video. You can find me in all the usual places on social media, and if you're trying to learn about a subject, then check out the playlist. All of my videos are organized into easy to follow playlists that, if you're trying to learn a topic, will take you from the basics right the way through to some pretty advanced stuff.